to this channel, Meteorite Tarot. Today we are going to be asking the question, where are you safe? Or where do you feel safe? So there are 3 different readings for you today. This is reading number 1, reading number 2, and reading number 3. So please do take a minute, maybe pause the video, and it's very important to take some grounding breaths. Get yourself into a calm state of energy before you choose your reading, because that is the way that you will find the one, that's the way you'll be drawn to the one that is going to be the most useful for you at this moment in time. And I do have to warn you, I recorded the readings before doing this intro, and Spirit is kind of not pulling punches with this one. Spirit is getting into some truths here that they want you to hear if you are ready. So if that sounds like something you are looking for, then I will see you at your reading. The timestamps are going to be pinned in the description box below, so as soon as you've chosen it, you can just scroll down and pick whichever one you are resonating with, and I will see you there. Group 1, we have some very interesting messages coming out for you about safety and where you find it. So I think your ability to perceive is part of where you find safety, because you have this capacity for observation that helps you understand how things flow, and that even if you are in a downward or a more difficult cycle, you know that you'll swing back up again, or you know that circumstances will shift again, and so you're able to remain quite calm and centered through life's more challenging moments. There is this quality about you where you seem a little removed, or you are a little removed. You're not trapped by your circumstances, because you recognize, the light that comes with the dark and the dark that comes with the light. You recognize the blessings that come with the lessons, and vice versa. So you're someone who is very objective, and you also, I think you're someone who recognizes and honors your internal life, maybe even identify more with your internal life than with your external day-to-day reality or circumstances. So you might be a little bit difficult to get to know, or a little bit aloof or removed, and this is also part of how you keep yourself safe. I do get the impression that you are quite loving. You have this ability to feel a lot of love, but people might not necessarily know that right away. Like, it would be, more of a sparkle in your eye than something that you're going to express out loud for some of you. But, maybe the fact that you do feel this love for what you observe is also part of what keeps you safe, because I don't get the impression from this Daughter of Swords card that she is planning to use her sword. So you might be someone who's very mentally sharp and very observant, but you're not really using that to try and criticize or instigate conflict. It's more like you are using that capacity to mediate conflict, or to point out the positives or the special things about a situation. So this ability to remain one step removed from chaos or challenges, and this ability to recognize the good, to recognize the love, is part of what keeps you safe, or feeling safe, so that you're not really so afraid of life's ups and downs. And, people might also find you a little bit mysterious, a little bit unpredictable, and they don't necessarily know what you might be thinking. Now, the next 2 cards are kind of interesting, because the question that I asked was, who is safe for group 1? And we have the Devil and the 8 of Swords. and I am getting the feeling of some sacral chakra energy here, some potentially sexual energy or creative energy, and there is something growing in you which you are, it's either blossoming forth or it's getting ready to blossom forth, or it's part of some transformation where whoever you are connecting with, who helps you open up this sexual energy and makes you feel alive, they are safe for you. And you have some aspect of yourself that you are ready to show or explore, or even have a little bit on display, and it has to do with being embodied, being in a body, being physical. So maybe you are interacting with someone very worldly, or with an energy that enjoys the process of being self-indulgent, and this is going to bring a kind of self-indulgence out of you, which might previously have been surrounded by some anxiety or self-criticism. So there is some aspect of you that wasn't feeling safe or hasn't been feeling safe, and you are getting to explore some interactions that will make that energy feel more integrated, more pleasurable, less anxiety inducing. And this is something that you are very ready for. Now, the next question that I asked is, what activities make you feel safe, or what actions make you feel safe? And we have the Two of Swords and the Four of Cups. So there's this very strong energy of non-commitment, not giving your heart to anything, keeping what you care about very private or very close to home. Like you are not looking to share your cup with anyone, or to have anyone get to know you in a very emotionally intimate way, very much keeping people at arm's length. And you're also maybe not interested in doing things in a conventional way. Again, you're quite self-contained and quite mysterious, or not necessarily conducting your business out in the open, or if you are, you're not identifying with a conventional approach to things. And you're very much exploring your own way of connecting with the world. Again, that sense of detachment where you're kind of one step removed from however things flow or whatever outcome would be predicted. Even whatever you're passionate about, you're keeping at arm's length or engaging with in quite a detached or guarded or non-committal way. So I'm going to pull some advice and see what we find there for advice from Spirit. Okay, so again, this is quite interesting because we have orange, connection and attunement. And this is very consistent with that sacral chakra energy, that creative energy or sexual energy that I was picking up with this question of who is safe for you. But there is a slightly different flavor to it here. Because the passion which might be associated with creativity or sexuality is being used as a direct means of connecting with spirit. So feeling enlivened, feeling your energy be attuned all the way through your chakras. And so it's almost like what starts out as sacral chakra energy and something that you're experiencing as this personal internal thing meets another energy or transforms into another energy, where instead of it starting in the sacral chakra and moving up, it is being received through the crown chakra, which is direct connection with spirit. And the energy here is it's a little confusing, because with the Father of Swords we have some kind of boundary, some kind of fierceness around that fully energetically activated state of being, where both the upper and the lower chakras are enlivened. It's almost like, yes, play with this energy, but you need to recognize and honor its full potency, or it will be denied you, or trap you in something incomplete. And it's interesting because whilst the Daughter of Swords is not trying to wield her sword and instead is focusing on love, the Father of Swords is totally ready to use his sword to cut things out. And there is an energy of being fully present, being fully awake to what Spirit has to communicate with you. So I am not entirely sure actually what the advice is. It might be wise to avoid attachment or identification with one specific type of energy, and try to allow the full flow throughout all of your energy centers from root to crown. Really, the only concrete advice that I can feel from this has to do with making sure that you are in alignment with Spirit and listening to the full range of what your energy has to say. And it's interesting because the heart chakra energy feels absent from what is represented here. And that may very much have to do with those reservations that you do have around sharing your cup with anyone. I'm feeling like there may be some heartbreak here to where your heart is very guarded, and so you may have energy lighting up in your upper chakras and energy in your lower chakras that may be activated, but your heart connection seems to be missing. And from the orange card, connection and attunement, I'm feeling that there is a need to be present with that and allow it to be part of your awareness and part of your reality and part of your dance. And I'm feeling like you need to open that up to Spirit and acknowledge that it is there, or rather that it is not there. Your heart feeling is not there. So I actually want to pull one more message to hear from your heart, whatever it wants to say. Okay, this is super interesting. We have the 10 of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups, each of which have all of the chakra colors represented, and this balance of energies. And this is both material abundance and emotional abundance and sharing. So I'm wondering if this is an energy that you are grieving, or that you lost, or it's absent, or maybe this is part of what you are longing for, or have felt cut off from, or walked away from. That feeling of being cut off is kind of present with this Father of Swords energy, who also has all of the chakra colors, the full chakra alignment represented on his sword. So I don't know, group one, however that resonates for you, perhaps it is worth considering. I'm going to tie up this reading here, but I am so grateful to you for checking it out. Thank you so much for doing that. And I am, as always, so grateful and astonished by Spirit bringing these messages out. It completely blows me away every time. And if this did resonate for you, if the message did bring you something that was useful or insightful, please go ahead and like the video, because that will bring it into more people's YouTube feed, or subscribe to my channel if you want to see more. If you like the way that I deliver messages, those things mean a huge deal to me right now, because I'm a very new and young YouTube channel. Leaving me a comment, letting me know how it resonated, is another really good way to give me a little feedback for the message. So whether that is, positive or constructive feedback. I am interested either way. So I hope that you have a wonderful day, Group 1, and I hope to see you again soon. Okay, Group 2. Now, somewhere that you are finding safety is actually in some habitual anxiety. I get the impression that this group are people who are used to being in quite a young energy, or an energy that isn't fully in charge, or somehow keeping themselves in a subordinate role, because there's this mental habit of worry or anxiety where it's like, well, I won't step up because I can see all of the problems that would come of that. So instead, I'll keep myself tucked away in this background energy, this kind of anonymous energy of like helping out rather than being in charge, because then I'll be safe from all this stuff that I'm afraid of. And that makes it so that whatever ideas you may have, even if they could work out, you're probably not going to explore them because your mind is so busy keeping you safe from all of the things that could potentially go wrong. So you are using keeping yourself small as a safety net. I'm picking up a very kind energy, so you're probably someone who people find very gentle or quite meek. Or you have an energy where, when it comes to ambition, where there is a lack of willingness to be competitive or to participate in conflict. And it's almost like your anxiety is happiest when you do keep yourself in this meek place. And I think you're someone who is always on alert and always watching the dynamics which are around you to assess your safety. So I asked the question, who are you safe with? And there is a very self-contained energy to that. I'm almost getting the impression that you would rather be either out in nature or somehow directly connecting with spirit or with animals, rather than connecting with other people. That's where you feel safest, and that's who you feel you can trust. Because you like energies that don't conceal what they are. So like in the same way that a cat will behave true to cat behavior and a tree will be true to being a tree, you would rather connect with those types of energy than deal with the confusion of human beings. And you're probably pretty content with your own company, content in solitude, because that is how you stay in that feeling that what is around you is true and without artifice. So no one around you is hiding anything or has any hidden agenda or any maliciousness. So I think you're someone who is very sensitive to contentious energy, and that question of who you're safe with, you might honestly feel like the answer is no one, or no one human being. Or if you do have close relationships, there is a total necessity for the people who you're close with to be really good-hearted, really honest and straightforward. And possibly people who don't need anything from you, or who can respect that you are very self-contained and allow you to have your boundaries. Because even though you may not be very materially ambitious, you do always provide for yourself, and you like to keep it that way. You don't want to be relying on other people for your well-being. So the next question that I asked is, what actions or activities help you feel safe? And this again, there feels like there are some habits that you have developed or that you perpetuate here, some energies that you have turned inwards and internalized, and they have to do with, again, the ways that you have learned to keep yourself happy in the same way that you keep your anxiety happy by keeping yourself small. I think you might keep your emotional life happy by never forgetting your heartbreaks. like you have internalized your heartbreaks or your disappointments to the extent that they are always a little bit alive in you. And there's this energy that comes with that of, like, if you're in the middle of a heartbreak and you go outside and the day is just absolutely beautiful, then the happiness that you feel from experiencing that beauty can be fully trusted, because you still experience it regardless of any other circumstance. And I think that that might be the only kind of happiness that you are willing to trust, because all other types are transient and could potentially lead to more unhappiness further down the road. Things that you're attached to, or people that you're attached to, circumstances you're attached to, which might lead to more heartbreak later on. And with the Ace of Cups in reverse, there is this feeling of you really enjoy being inspired, but you're probably going to leave the inspiration at the level of being a feeling or a sensation or an idea, rather than acting on it to make it something tangible in the world. So, you might really enjoy fantasizing and do so habitually, but you're probably going to keep that at the level of fantasy and just enjoy the way that it feels, rather than having to deal with navigating the process of actualizing what you dream about in a world full of potentially discordant or antagonistic energies. So I'm going to pull out a card or two to get some advice, to see if Spirit has any advice for you and the way that you engage with these energies. So we have the Father of Wands here, and that's tapping back into this theme of your inspiration, which is recurring through this whole reading, because you have quite a strong relationship with inspiration. That much seems clear. But your anxiety also has a strong relationship with your inspiration. So with the Four of Swords, this speaks towards acknowledging and engaging with that relationship between anxiety and inspiration, and perhaps creating a routine of meditation or really conscious and intentional resting, so that you have set periods of time where your anxiety is not driving the bus and you are forging a relationship of trust with your own mind and your own thoughts. And with this card, Signs from Spirit with Love, you're being encouraged to recognize the messages you're getting from Spirit. And for some of you, there's an energy to this of a passed on loved one, actually, a feminine energy. So this could be a mother or an aunt or a grandmother, or just some feminine energy who has passed on and who you were close with, sending you messages of encouragement, which might show up as feathers or repeating number sequences or birds visiting you or something like that. But if it isn't that energy of someone who has passed on, or you don't have someone you are close with who has passed on, this is recognizing your own gentle energy and that meekness when it comes to conflict that I was picking up with the Daughter of Pentacles, and the way that you have this fire and this passion and this intensity contained within your meek exterior. So you might even be someone who gets like very flushed easily, or even breaks out in hives when you're experiencing more intense emotions and they are on display or being revealed somehow when you're expressing yourself. I feel like there is an encouragement here to develop your relationship with your passionate nature, with your fire, and to give it some safe mode of expression. Find, something creative maybe that you can do consistently, and create a space and an energy around that is very safe. The first step towards that might be this practice of meditation, or rest, or somehow finding this safe space within yourself and developing a relationship with that feeling of safety so that you know that you have it to fall back on. And, I did pick up also with this that some of you might want to work on this with a therapist. You might want to work on developing this safety within yourself for your emotional expression with a professional who can help you to bring that out in a way that feels encouraging, that feels okay. So group 2, I'm going to wrap up your reading here. I really hope that it brought you some insight, some clarity, something positive. And I am so grateful to you for checking out this video. Thank you so much for doing that. And I am grateful, as always, to Spirit for bringing out these messages in a way that is just astonishing to me. Always, the way that the story has come out with the cards. It just blows me away all of the time. So if this video did resonate with you, I would love it if you would hit the thumbs up button, give the video a like, or leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought. Even if it's a negative or let's say a constructive feedback, I would love to know about it. It's really meaningful to me to hear about how these readings affect people who have engaged with them. And if you want to see more from me, please subscribe to my channel. Of course, all of these things will boost my content on YouTube and bring them out to more people who might be interested in seeing them. So if you want to give back to me, that's a really easy way to do it. So group number 2, I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you again. Alrighty, group 3, let's talk about your sense of safety. See, you guys, it seems like you create the feeling of safety by guarding yourselves against heartbreak, which means blocking off your heart. And the thing about this is you have learned how to be strong through the experience of having your heart broken, but you are now keeping that energy of heartbreak or betrayal alive in your personality so that it is never quite absent. You are constantly protecting yourselves against the repetition of a situation that in truth you are still experiencing. It's unprocessed. So the question is whether this is true strength or whether this is fear masquerading as strength. Because I think that you want love. You're just so scared of what will happen if you allow it in that you identify with your heartbreak instead. And if you're constantly experiencing it, then it can't take you by surprise. So you would rather continuously carry the burden of it than release yourself and make room for real love to come in. So the Devil card is in this spread, but I'm also feeling a sense of devil energy to this 3 of Swords, which is a heartbreak or a betrayal card. So there's something addictive for you in this feeling, or something which has you trapped. It has your mind trapped in a self-sabotaging habit, and it has blocked off your clarity and your awareness of the infinite possibilities which are available. I mean, even blocked off your relationship with Spirit to some extent. So the next question that I asked is, who are you safe with? Or who do you feel safe with? So we have the 4 of Swords and the Mother of Cups. And this could literally be your mother, or it could be, a more feminine or nurturing, receptive energy that is very emotionally in tune or somehow magical or intuitive. Someone who allows you to rest and recuperate. Even someone who helps you to heal your inner child, or who your relationship with them, it helps you to heal your inner child. But there's also something elusive about this energy. Like, you can't have all of their time. They are someone who sends energy your way, though, who recognizes your fears and anxieties and almost tries to stand guard against them, or, holds compassionate space for them. But there is some kind of distance or disconnect between the two of you. It's almost as if you have some inner child healing that you need to do, and this person might illuminate what that is, or what the self-destructive thoughts or patterns are, but they're not going to be responsible for holding you as you go through the process. So they're not in your immediate environment, or they're not grounded in the same circumstances or the same foundation as you. So maybe you're not literally their child, but you have been able to benefit to some extent from the way in which they carry some maternal energy. And don't be confused about gender. I'm speaking only in terms of energy. It could just as easily be a man who is playing the role of holding a safe container for you. But there is the feeling here as well that they are taking some of the magic out of their own cup in order to share with you. And that could also be why they're a little bit elusive, because they have to retreat in order to refill their cup before they can give energy to you again. But this is someone who you are safe with. It's almost as though they have been using their energy to fight back the swords of heartbreak which you have been carrying with you, so that your inner child can have enough time to recover from that experience of heartbreak that you have been carrying around and identifying with. Like they're trying to hold it back so that you can realize your awareness and your potential and your connection with spirit, which has been a little blocked off by keeping this heartbreak alive in your emotional system. But it's interesting because the way that they are able to perceive things is like it's just at the fringes of the way that you perceive things. So what I mean by that is, like, the way that they perceive things, it helps them to help you. But also it isn't the primary way in which you interpret the world, and presumably vice versa. So the next question that I asked was, what activities or actions keep group 3 feeling safe, or keep them safe, or keep them feeling safe? And with the Devil card and the 9 of Pentacles, we have some habits coming out, which help you to feel safe here, really relying on both addictions and your sense of independence to help you feel like you're safe. So this is where you would rather keep yourself closed off than allow your heart to open back up, or allow yourself to share your circumstances with other people. And you're going to go to those habits that keep you feeling comfortable, keep you distracted and convinced that you're satisfied, even if you are stuck in a pattern that you have to perpetuate in order to feel okay. So there's an element of being trapped in this. And it could be obsessive behaviors, or, mentally or physically or emotionally unhealthy patterns that you would rather stick with than grow beyond. And it might be habits that temporarily distract you from feelings of loneliness, so that you do feel like you don't mind keeping those walls up and shutting others out of your heart, rather than allowing in the unsettling and unpredictable experience of person-to-person connection. I'm feeling like there is some unprocessed fear in your root chakra, so that would be your sense of belonging, your sense of home, of physical stability. And for some reason, if you examine that energy without the distraction of your addictions, you feel no safety in that realm. You feel no safety in the idea of home or the idea of sharing your life. So instead you shut yourself off from that potential and distract yourself through whatever habits you have developed to soothe that fear or to make it less present in your experience. So I'm going to pull some cards to get some advice from Spirit and find out if there is anything that Spirit has to say. Okay, so for advice, we have the Empress, the Void, and the Ace of Cups. And so I'm thinking that for some of you, your interaction with the feminine or with that idea of nurturing abundant energy that is represented by the Empress, it caused you to retreat into a state of transformation. And it is our own shadow behaviors which can sometimes trick us out of our connection with what the Empress represents. So with that idea of abundance, of love, of happiness, of sharing, and so on, and being in that void state, that place of retreat and re-examination, it can be what is necessary to empty out destructive behaviors and allow you to kind of inhabit this energy of a new empty cup, like this Ace of Cups here. And that would be, you can fill your cup once it has been emptied out with whatever reality you choose to embody moving forwards. So this is like an opportunity to clear out your energy, and whatever helps you with that, it could be sound healing, it could be, energy healing, yoga, meditation, whatever it is. You have this opportunity to kind of restructure your energetic patterns here. And it might begin painfully and with a feeling of inescapable darkness. But, within that darkness or within that pause or separation from life as it was before, there does lie this opportunity to heal and to be renewed. And you get the chance to leave behind any behaviors which have been holding you back or creating unhealthy patterns. And, maybe you'll be able to choose what replaces those patterns, or even whether new patterns will form, or whether you will approach the world with less rigid expectations and more clear and malleable energy. And the process of having that more kind of clear energy, it does mean continuously coming back to renewing and clearing out our energetic patterns that we've been building up. So, meditation is a good one for that, or dancing, something where you are disconnecting from the constant habitual running of your mind and allowing this more like flow state to be what is primary in your experience. And that really is a daily practice that we can choose to get into in order to put us further into that kind of state of emptiness or state of presence or readiness to engage with the world without our triggers being so close to the surface or so much in charge. So if you are in this place of darkness, or if you have been, or if you're going into it, I think the advice here is to lean into it and allow yourself to recognize what arises, and ask the question of whether or not you want to keep what you have been carrying, or whether you want to let it go and make space within your energy for something potentially different. So group 3, I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope so much that these messages brought you something, brought you some insight, brought you something helpful. Thank you so much for checking out this video. I am so grateful, and I'm so grateful to Spirit for bringing out these messages. It is always and continuously astonishing to me how the narratives come out with the cards in such a consistent and relatable way. And, you know, if this did resonate for you, I would love it if you would like the video. It boosts my content on YouTube, it brings it out to more people, it helps my channel grow. And if you do want to see more from me, then please do subscribe to my channel if you like the way that I deliver messages. Or leave me a comment, let me know how it resonated, let me know if you have any feedback, or if something came to mind from this reading. I would love to hear about that. So, group theory, I'm going to say goodbye. Thank you so much for stopping by this video, and I hope to see you again soon.